Turner. I'm going to share a spoken word piece with you all. I feel that the conditions of our communities produce the conditions and the actions of those that live within the community. So I'm really excited about the conversation that's going to be having about what we can do in reimagining our spaces. So I wonder, what really happens if I can just float again? Above the pain and the sin found within this reality I'm stuck living in, yes, I wonder. What really happens if I can just float again? Above the pain and the sin found within this reality I'm stuck living in. The pain. You see, I was broken down like puzzle pieces mentally when I lost my peace and the still water that the Lord promised me. And I find myself at home with the storms, raging waves beating against my soul, left wondering what really happens when religious rhetoric no longer works, and I'm still left standing in the same hurt that I was praying in. See, I was never taught how to be strong carnally. So now I'm only half the man that I used to be because my mother is gone. And I tried to remember life the way that I left it when I heard the bad news. Your mother fell and been bruised, and now she's in a coma and can't move. Wow, you've never felt pain till you feel what he had to lose. Shoot. You have never felt life fall into the very bottom of your stomach when you have to choose life or death for the one you love. You understand what that does to you. Can't nobody try to hold me nor console me. Please, just leave me be to grieve and mourn. What you see is now a boy with his brain broken, left wondering what really happens if he can just float again. Above the pain and the sin found within this reality he's stuck living in, yes, I wonder what really happens if I can just float again. Above the pain and the sin found within this reality I'm stuck living in. The sin. You see, even in my brokenness, I clearly can see the brokenness in this broken kid who lives in a broken hood and was raised in a broken home. She is broke financially now, broken emotionally because just the other evening a bullet broke through the skin of her brother. A burning bullet blazed through shattered glass. It came from a stolen gun that was gripped by the hood-walked fingers of a young man whose heart was broken when he had to endure the same pain he's inflicting on her family. Now I understand you're hurt, my brother, but don't agree with your means. And I know you might have been injected with that poison unwillingly, but please, be willing not to spread your HIV. And I know you may think I'm lost in this metaphor, like what did HIV have to do with anything, but hate, vengeance, and wrath are diseases that consumes the blocks that I walk down constantly. And I know the Bible says of old, an eye for an eye, and teeth for teeth, but innocent bystanders are plagued by such words because shooters have been shooting blind. And I don't want to be your preacher, man, but it's about darn time that we combat the chaos in our communities and nullify those that are lost with love-laced lullaby. And I bet my life on the possibility that change can come through love. Yes, change must come through love, but until then, I wonder what really happens if I can just float again. Above the pain and the sin found within this reality I'm stuck living in, yes, I wonder what would happen if I could just float again, or if we could just float again above this pain and this sin that we're stuck living in. But until I get answers from the panel, answers from my questioning, answers from all of us in these collective spaces, I wonder. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. I'm excited about the conversation that's going to come forth. And thank you all for reimagining the spaces in Los Angeles. Thank you.
Thank you again. We are blessed to have your inspiration to set the tone for this conversation that we're going to have today. I'm Mark Galloway Gilliam, and I have the pleasure of being the Executive Director of Community Health Council, which is the organization sponsoring this two-day journey and conversation. How many of you in the room were on the tour on Saturday? Oh, that's great. Thank you for coming back. And I assume you had a good time, if that's why you were here. I I heard wonderful stories out of that. I unfortunately was not intent, but I heard of people coming into our community for the first time and getting a chance to see both the suffering and the beauty that is South LA. Community Health Councils is a nonprofit organization located in South Los Angeles within the Crenshaw district. And our mission is to improve the health and access to quality health care for communities. When we first started this work, a lot of our energy was spent around trying to ensure that people had access to health insurance, the Medicaid program for low-income families, women and children. We celebrate the introduction of healthy families for children, and of course, in 2008, the passage of health reform, 2009, made us grateful for the advancements that we have been made, that we've seen. But as an organization, we realized that A, we were losing a lot of our healthcare infrastructure with the closing of Martin Luther King Hospital, Daniel Freeman, doctors leaving our community. When we looked around and we said, what are we going to do to give people hope? What are we going to do to create an environment in which people are not so dependent upon these hospitals and emergency rooms? And so we turned our attention to the food industry. We turned our attention to the lack of parks, the lack of grocery stores, the proliferation of fast food restaurants. We celebrated last fall the passage of an ordinance here in the city of Los Angeles, specifically for South Los Angeles, that limits the number of fast food restaurants in our community as a way of trying to give people some breathing room. And this conversation around open space and parkland is another effort to give people breathing room. Here in South Los Angeles, we know we have the highest rates of heart disease, diabetes. When they have looked at the number of years lost, it is this 8th council district, unfortunately, that has the largest, the highest, that has the lowest life expectancy in all of our county. And that is disheartening because we know that there are people in this community who are working hard every day to feed their families, to get their children educated, and to have a quality life, and yet they're working against the odds. And so we need to create new opportunities. The young man talked about floating. We want to create a space and place in which people can dream and live healthier lives. And so this is a part of that conversation. And we want to thank you for being here today. I want to particularly thank Bethany, who has done, I think, an outstanding job of bringing people together to have this conversation. It's part of what we do at CHC is really about bringing people together. Council is about this old model of bringing people together to talk about and work through the issues, because we believe the solutions really lie in our community, and we believe that we have the imagination and the resources and the tenacity and can create the political will that we need to see change. And so we've got some really great folks coming from all over the country who are going to share their stories. Behind us, we've seen some of the images of this last Saturday, and we're going to have a chance to hear from folks who were on that journey, their impressions. And then we're going to sit together, and we're going to talk about what might be possible, what could we do here in Los Angeles, and how do we support each other, creating a space in South Los Angeles where we all take pride in growing up, raising our children, and living. I don't know about the rest of you, but I've lived here all of my life. And I guess I've been fortunate enough that I could have moved away from this community. But there's something wonderful about South LA that just will not let me go. And I love to say, I